I am the eldest among 3 children in my family. I was born in 1992 and have 2 younger sisters born in 1997 and 2005. Having a sibling or 2 has its ups and downs. It's a constant roller coaster that often involves a potpourri of emotions. Some days it's aggravating, while on others it's the most wonderful thing ever, and I wouldn't have it any other way. After all, it's these ups and downs that provide everyday life with the spice it needs to keep it from being boring. So if that's what living in a family consisting of 3 siblings is like, imagine what it would be like for a family consisting of 11 siblings. Today we're going to be talking about The Loud House on Nickelodeon, and boy, I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time. Ever since I started getting into this series in July this year, I've been busy forming my impressions on it. I've got so many things I want to say about it, and I can't wait to... Excuse me for 1 second. Oh, hi there. May I help you?
Hey there, I was just making my way downtown and thought I'd drop by for a bit, say my hellos and whatnot. So anyways, you're gonna be talking about The Loud House, right?
Yeah, that was my plan for today. Wait a minute, how do you know that?
Lucky guess?
Yeah, sure it is.
Okay, I'll be honest, you're not the only one who's very fond of the show. I just figured we could take a look at The Loud House together and put our respective 2 cents on the table. Of course, if that's cool with you.
Well, if you put it that way, then there's no harm in that. The more the merrier. Please, come on in.
Oh, thanks.
I gotta say, this is unexpected. Still a pleasant surprise, though. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Shadowstreak. So you're a fan of The Loud House too?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I consider both it and Harvey Beaks to be the 2 saving graces for Nickelodeon in the wake of their less than stellar programming as of late.
Agreed. 100%. With all the unimaginative live-action shit on that channel, those 2 shows are such a breath of fresh air. In regards to The Loud House, hey Shadow, are you aware about the show's fascinating beginnings?
Well, Martin, The Loud House was originally made as a 2-minute short film by the series creator, Chris Savino, in 2013. It was his entry into Nickelodeon's annual animated shorts program, where animators from across the globe would create short-format animation to be submitted to the network with a chance of them being developed into their own series in the future.
So in essence, it's similar to What a Cartoon and Oh Yeah cartoons from the 1990s.
Yup, pretty much.
The Loud House then debuted into television 3 years later, on May 2nd, 2016 to be exact.
Although it's important to bring up that, in the month leading up to the premiere, Nickelodeon actually released 2 shorts on their official website and YouTube channel, one titled Bathroom Break and the other Slice of Life.
Damn. Nick sure is going the extra mile with this show, aren't they? And its name isn't even SpongeBob or the Fairly Odd Parents. What is the world coming to?
I am willing to bet that it could have something to do with the reputation of the creator. He is a legend after all.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Chris Savino has been around the animation scene for a very long time. Like, a very long time. So it should come as no surprise that his name rings a bell to a wide majority of animation fanatics. He has an extensive portfolio consisting of hits from Dexter's Lab to the Powerpuff Girls. No, not that abomination. The greatest animated series to ever grace the earth, with its majestic colors, passionate stories, incredible humor, enticing villains, thrilling action, diverse atmosphere, relatable morals.
Shadow.
Sorry about that, I tend to get carried away. Where was I? He also worked on My Life as a Teenage Robot, Hey Arnold, and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, just to name a few more.
And to add to that, guess the network where he kicked off his animation career.
Oh, I know.
Yes, Shadow?
Cartoon Network.
Nope.
Disney?
Wrong again.
Oh no. Please don't let it be true.
Yup. It's the Orange Goop factory itself, Nickelodeon. See, Chris Savino first worked on, of all the possible cartoons out there, The Ren and Stimpy Show, landing the job of layout artist for its first season in 1991 after submitting his artwork to creator John Kay during an animation festival at the Detroit Institute of the Arts. So it is indeed a small world we live in.
It's a small world after all.
Put a sock in it.
Wow, that explains so much. No wonder this show is so good.
Speaking of which, shall we tell the good folks watching at home some more about the show?
I don't see why not.
So then, What is the Loud House all about? Take it away, Shadow.
Oh, okay. The premise of The Loud House is really as simple as it gets. The show is centered on a young boy by the name of Lincoln Loud, the middle child in his family of 11 siblings. As if that wasn't bad enough already for the poor boy, it turns out that all 10 of his other siblings are female. Being outnumbered by a 10-to-1 ratio, this naturally lends itself to plenty, and I do mean plenty, of hilarious and heartwarming moments. It's completely different from Nickelodeon's standard programming fare at the moment because it's far less random and chaotic than some of its animated counterparts.
Well, less is more after all. The Loud House is energetic, colorful, and, dare I say it, loud, while still being down to earth and relatable for many, kids and adults alike, especially for anyone with an older or younger sibling.
A lot of episodes in this series covers topics that most siblings usually face in their lives, whether it's an older sibling putting charge of the younger ones, or a disagreement on the chores that each sibling has to do around the house. Hey Martin, you said you have 2 little sisters in your family, right? Do you 3 ever encounter something like that?
Oh, do we ever? I think it'd be easier to count our agreements compared to our disagreements. And you?
Every once in a while something comes up, yeah. It's sort of a given, even if you have just one little sister.
Now for the rest of the Loud family.
Lincoln, being the protagonist of the series, must cope with the 10 sisters he shares the same roof with. They are as follows, from oldest to youngest.
Lori, the eldest of the family.
Lenny, second in the family and the least bright of the bunch.
Third child and aspiring rocker Luna.
Luann, the practical joker.
Lynn, the outgoing tomboyish sporty girl.
Lucy, the token goth girl.
Twins Lana and Lola, Lana being another tomboy and into all things filthy, and Lola being a prima donna child pageant star.
Lisa, the second youngest and child prodigy.
And last but not least is Lily, the baby of the Loud family. That's quite the rambunctious bunch.
Wow, that's a lot of L's. Chris sure seems to be rather fond of that letter.
With such a large ensemble of characters, it's hard to pick a favorite. Depending on who you are, there's guaranteed to be at least one character that'll resonate with you.
For me personally, it's a toss-up between Luann and Lucy. I can't get enough of the puns Luann loves to throw down.
I always knew I was the light of your life. I said comedy gold, not digging for gold. The lettuce was ahead, and the tomato was trying to catch up. Say, Lily, who's your favorite singer? Lady Gaga. What do you call a sleeping bull? A bulldozer.
And I admire how blunt Lucy can be when talking to her siblings, especially Lincoln. Seriously, some of her straightforward moments leave me on the floor laughing. What's not to love?
I come here to think. I actually just wrote a new poem called Ventilate. Inside the wall, I choose to be alone. If I ever get stuck, please listen for my moan.
How about you, Lucy? We might find a bat.
I know we will, but none of them are vampires, so what's the point? I just want to say I'm sorry for your loss, and that I'd be honored to serve as funeral director. I keep an assortment of caskets on hand. Were you thinking shoebox? Or for a little more money, mahogany?
How about you, Martin? Got any favorites?
It's a tough call, man. If I have to choose, then I'm going with Lori and Luna. Lori because her being the eldest in the family speaks to me, and we both have the same temperament. We both get pissed off easily.
Beat it, twerp. Come on, Lori, no fair! I was here first! Well, I was born first.
There's only one rule in this house. Stay out of my bedroom. If I catch you in here again, I will literally turn you into a human pretzel.
How dare you bully our brother? Only we get to do that.
And Luna because she's just plain awesome. She loves music like I do, plays an instrument like I do, and she's a cool big sister to the rest of the family. A prime example of what a good big brother or big sister is like.
Here you go, bro. All it needs is love. Love is all it needs. You kidding me? When it comes to music, I know all. Are you ready for me to show you how to have the greatest first concert ever? That's my bro! Thanks for making my first concert unforgettable, Luna! Rock and roll!
Not bad choices at all. I'd also like to draw some attention to the parents of these kids, Mr. and Mrs. Loud. While we do see them several times throughout the show, their roles tend to be very minor most of the time compared to the kids.
Hell, we don't even see their faces and most likely never will. What is this, cow and chicken all over again?
I think it suits them better that way. The show is primarily about the kids after all. Another character that I think is worth mentioning is Lincoln's friend Clyde McBride, who harbors a strong, unrequited crush on Lori. In fact, his crush is so strong that the second episode has him gushing blood from his nose when he sees her walking by. You don't see that in cartoons every day, but that ultimately just adds to the charm of the show. I love it especially when... Hey, are you okay?
I'm sorry. That was just so disgusting.
What was?
The nose bleeding. I think I might have lost my lunch from that.
Come on now, this is Nickelodeon we're talking about here. Their shows are the epitome of toilet humor. This is the network that used to have a freaking slime splat for a logo. Honestly, this sort of thing here is no stranger to Nick shows. However, I think it works better here because they don't always directly show something repulsive on screen. Rather, they imply it, leaving us, the audience, to use our imaginations and thus involve us in the show by drawing a stronger reaction from us.
Now that you mention it, yeah, you're right. That's a very good point. Huh. A show that actually knows how to do toilet humor correctly. Haven't seen those in a long time. So, we left off at,
Clyde McBride, Lincoln's best friend.
Right. In addition to being friends with Lincoln and his sisters, Clyde is also notable in that his parents are the very first same-sex couple on animated Nickelodeon programming, and the very first same-sex married couple in a cartoon of a younger demographic.
That's sure to have turned people's heads.
In a good way though. Mostly.
Yeah, still that is a really cool thing to see. It's nice that animation is starting to reflect that the times are changing. I'm sure you're also a fan of the voice cast?
Of course. Grant Palmer is a great choice for Lincoln.
Was.
Ah, right. Was a great choice for Lincoln, sorry. Puberty must have hit and caused his voice to change as a result.
It's not the first time this has happened to a child actor. Need I remind you that Arnold had his voice changed 4 times over the course of Nickelodeon's series Hey Arnold?
Good point.
He's since been replaced with Colin Dean as of episode 23. You may also know him as the voice of Gregory from Over the Garden Wall.
Ah yes, now that was a marvelous series. As for the rest of the cast, it includes notable people such as Catherine Tabor, Lara Jill Miller, Christina Puccelli, Gray Delisle Griffin,
Jessica DeChico, Nika Futterman, Liliana Mumi, and Khalil Harris. Wow, that's a lot of talent.
just another one of the many reasons why we love this show.
Very true. What do you think of the overall look of the show?
Well, it doesn't take long to notice that this show is heavily influenced by Sunday comics. Its art style reflects this rather well with its textured backgrounds and desaturated colors.
Ah, yes, similar to strips like Peanuts and Calvin and Hobbes in that sense.
Exactly.
Hey, if you don't mind, I'd like to bring attention to one of my favorite minor details in the entire show. The backgrounds. They have a very minute construction paper-like texture to them, and I absolutely love it. It's really helpful in distinguishing it from everything that occurs in the foreground.
It also helps that all of the characters and important objects on screen tend to stick primarily to solid colors. This keeps everything from blending into each other, and it really accents the style because of this.
And I don't think I need to mention just how beautifully well animated this show is.
Absolutely. The animation is simply stunning. Everything looks silky smooth the way it flows on screen. It really goes to show just how much animation has improved over the past few years.
I couldn't agree more. I think my absolute favorite thing that this show does in terms of its visual design is the way it portrays things like clouds and water. I can't quite describe it, but something about the way they look is just very appealing to me.
That's an odd detail to point out.
Yeah, it's just charming to me, you know?
And this artistic choice is also reflective of most of Chris Savino's career prior to this show, which mainly involved drawing up storyboards and character designs. Combine that with the fact that Chris himself grew up reading a lot of Sunday comics, it comes as no surprise why he went with a certain style. Like the Irish playwright Oscar Wilde said, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. So this show might also be a tribute of sorts to the good old days when comic strips were all the rage and people around the world would buy a weekly newspaper just to read.
Oh, Martin.
Huh?
Now who's getting long-winded?
Oops. Sorry about that, boys and girls. Ah, the beauty and curse of being a critic, am I right?
You can say that again.
This show has managed to earn mind-blowingly positive reception from both critics and general audiences in such a short amount of time. It's already been confirmed to have at least 3 full seasons on the air.
That's incredible, considering the show only premiered a little over 6 months ago. I've also seen a report or two that stated that The Loud House has actually managed to overtake SpongeBob's title as Nick's highest rated show.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no joke. It's actually doing better than SpongeBob right now. Let that sink in for a moment.
Huh, there's something you don't see every day.
It's funny, I get the feeling that no one, not even Chris Savino himself, could have imagined the success that this show has managed to obtain in such a short time period. I mean, something like that is almost unheard of.
All the more reason why this show deserves the praise it gets. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you, what's your favorite episode to have aired so far?
Well, as of now, my favorite episode would definitely be Link or Swim. It's just so over the top with how many times Lincoln tries to get his pool to himself, ranging from bee stings to twisted ankles to, you guessed it, getting his sisters out of the way. I'd pretty much call it the definition of Murphy's Law in that regard. Anything that can go wrong, will go wrong. What about you, Martin?
My favorite episode, huh? I actually have 2. One is No Guts, No Glory. Lori in this episode is basically me when I'm put in charge of my 2 sisters. Minus the drill sergeant stick though. The other is for Bros About to Rock, which perfectly illustrates why Luna is an awesome big sister. The episode gives us a rather nice look into where her passion for music came from, and it really speaks to people who are so passionate about the things they're into and just have to share them with their friends and family. And do I even need to mention the all too obvious Kiss tribute?
Not a bad choice.
We can all agree, as we've said many times already,
And we'll say many times more,
that The Loud House is awesome.
truly fantastic. The relatable, likable characters, the Sunday comics-inspired art style, the excellent writing, and the talented and well-renowned voice cast are the makings of a wonderful show.
If there's one thing that I can say that could be better in the future, it's that besides the 2 examples I've brought up, some of these episodes don't leave a lasting impression on you. It might have to do with the fact that a lot of these plots have been done before by other shows before it. With Season 2 having recently rolled in, I'm looking forward to an episode that really shakes the dynamics that the show has established.
To be fair, the writers do make the most of what they have. But yes, I do agree with you on your last point. Maybe it'll involve an arc where Lincoln becomes aware of how dark and gritty the world truly is through Lucy's manipulative psychological torment. This could cause Lincoln to lock himself away from the world while all of his sisters try to help him, only for him to shut them out because he doesn't think they care about him. He could also form a blood pact with some sort of demon or something, and you get the idea.
Wow, that's quite edgy.
What can I say? Edgy is my middle name.
Okay then. Anyway, Nick definitely has a keeper in their hands with Chris Savino's The Loud House.
If the ratings are as high as the reports say they are, then I only have high hopes for this show.
Fingers crossed that we don't see a repeat of a recent fiasco.
In the words of Kenan Thompson, why?
I don't know, man. I wish I did. I'm the one and only C.R. Martin.
And I'm the almighty edgelord Shadowstreak. And we'll
we'll
see you guys later.
Hey, while you're here, did you want something to eat?
Sure, I guess.
PB&J?
Sorry, I'm not really a peanut butter guy. Got anything else?
Yeah, I do. Let's go into the kitchen. So how about that Powerpuff reboot?
Don't even start.
Okay, then how about Infinity Train?
Oh, I think it's looking pretty good, you know? I really hope Cartoon Network picks it up for a full series. It has a lot of potential and there's a lot of places they could take it, you know?
I know, right? That's definitely something to look forward to.
Oh, speaking of, did you hear about the new Samurai Jack season coming out in a few months?
Really? A new season? Holy fuck.